does have high aggressive potential, especially like champions like the Gwen yesterday. They had such immense domination against Uni team, and I think Invate Esports do not want to witness that, same as the Fiora. So those champions that have been used by BRU yesterday, they're taking it away for now.
Yeah, big top lane focus coming in on these bans, and that's what I was looking for, the Yuumi ban for Invade, because we did see What the Jess picked up a really good Yuumi, especially in concert with the Garen in their game yesterday against who was against Uni team. So that, you know, it's a combo that's existed as long as Yumi's been in the game. So definitely good to ban that out to just keep Noel off of that Garen as well, because he won't be as activated and you won't be able to, you know, just take control of the entire map. But definitely a lot of respect bans towards Fipper. Camille banned out for Azriel as well. I wonder what BRU is going to ban out next, because there are quite a few options. They can choose to focus down the jungler as well.
Possibly the Aatrox.
Yeah, definitely I think Aatrox should not make it through because he's a little bit too strong in this meta.
Yeah, given that it does have high pick-up ban rate as well. I do recall yesterday, even in the Philippine region, where when the Aatrox was picked up, casters just went wild, seeing that because of the high impact of that particular champion. Yone as well is available for the picking, as we do recall in the banning stage. We're still just in the first phase of the banning, so it's more on getting the first prio champions, given the illusion being taken away.
He went through. Aatrox went through. Oh no. Oh no.
It's a common trade that we do see as well, since Aatrox is going to be taken here. BRU are focusing more on the utility now. Karma, very strong support utility champion in the Dragon lane, and Valdez, such a scary dude, now having the Kha'Zix in his hands.
Gotta love that bug coming into the jungle. A signal of some very active ganks. A Riven, though, coming into the Aatrox matchup. A classic matchup. And this is definitely, it comes down to skill. Azriel versus Slipper, Aatrox versus Riven. It's whoever is able to dominate the early game in the Baron lane who's going to be able to actually progress through the game. And Jack's ban for BRU, they are really scared of these bruiser, dragon, Baron and junglers. So, I mean, I get it, right? But they do already have a Galio, so no matter what else Invade picks for the jungle, they will have some really good team fighting in the early mid to mid-late game, just because of the global presence of the Galio and the Ash Arrow as well. We're gonna round out these bans with a Nautilus, a Renekton, and the last ban for Invade, I sense, is going to be another support ban on What the Jess.
Possibly, well, we still have the Braum or the Gragas available here. Garen gonna be respected here. Yeah, since the Karma is still available, the Garen can still be buffed up here for Noel, and Invade Esports is very much scared of that. So BRU still have a lot of choices left in their hands. I love the combination of Karma, Kha'Zix, and the Riven, because BRU, they love getting early game advantage. Given the Kha'Zix, given the Riven, we even seen their performance yesterday against Unity, wherein they got so much priority on Baron lane. So eyes on Tipper and Valdez later, because Azriel has to be protected. Despite having the Aatrox, which is quite scary in the mid to late game, but if you're gonna get bullied by a Riven in the early game, that is gonna be disastrous here for Invade Esports. Gragas, like we mentioned earlier, is available and will be picked up here by BRU.
Yeah, most definitely. You do want to enable that Aatrox. So, okay, I see a Akali there. So Akali in the jungle, perhaps, unless they want... Oh, this is going to be very interesting then. The Lee Sin in the jungle. Now, yes, it's going to be Akali mid lane and then Galio support Ash Dragon lane. So that is a really aggressive composition for Invade. A lot of priority and presence that Merly can have towards the Baron lane with Azriel, and Bluff X as well. can easily traverse the map as Akali and get away scot-free as soon as he has his ultimate. So Wukong gonna be coming out here for Bruriram though.
Yeah, they would need and would want also to have more crowd control to set up the team fight for them, especially on objective control, since that is their front line as well as the Gragas here on BRU side. Looking at Invate Esports, it's interesting to see that only one champion doesn't have crowd control here. Only the Akali here for possibly Bluffix or Acid, depending on who is gonna be going where here on the Aatrox and the Akali, because this is going to be confirmed later on. All right, it's going to be the Aatrox on the Baron lane. No switcheroo is going to happen here on Invate Esports side. So the matchups are already established here. And initial thoughts here, because for me, I do love the balance on the side of BRU side, but I'm
scared
I also
of
want to give
BRU's
respect
composition
on early games Invate Esports.
Yeah, I mean, so the thing about this is BRU, we know that they have a monstrous early game, but they also have an insane late game owing to, you know, the crowd control combo of Wukong coming in, knocking everybody up, and then Riven with the Broken Blade, the ultimate coming in, stunning everybody up, knocking everybody up, and then using her Broken Blade. That is just a scary combo, both in Classic League of Legends and in Wild Rift. So if that is able to get going, along with the Gragas, there's so much disruption in BRU's composition, as well as a Kha'Zix. So, you know, a full-on 5v5 team fight, I think, is something that Invate wants to avoid, if at all possible. They want to go for those quick skirmishes in the early to mid game to keep BRU on their toes. However, BRU, they really want to, you know, push the aggression in the early game and then go group up for the team fights mid to late.
Yeah, definitely, since they do have the Karma. So in terms of wave clearing, it's going to be much easier here on the side of BRU. So eyes on, you know, the top side of the map later on. And Merly, we are also going to be looking at him later on, because the Akali, the Aatrox, well, the Aatrox does have some crowd control, but it still needs to scale up a little bit in the early game. And we do see the assistance being made here on the top side of the map. Raven is even hovering alongside with Astral to give him a little bit of an assistance. BRU are just going to play it standard for now.
Yeah, a little bit of early bullying onto Thipper, and Raven's just gonna, you know, duo this lane with Asriel for a bit, leaving the Galio alone in the Dragon lane. I think that's completely fine, because Rich, even though he has taken some damage, should be able to hold this tower still. Oh yeah, he is half health, so he will need to be a little bit more careful. Good thing the Honeydew is there, or the Honeydew is there, so yeah, even though he is going to get bullied. Whoa, Noel though, getting really aggressive early on. Bluff X taking down a 10 HP, a sliver of health, has to back out. And Noel, very early, just expressing his intention to dominate this lane. But Thipper, now in a little bit of trouble, pushed down to the tower.
Yep. Just securing Invate Esports topside presence here to allow Asriel to get the early lead, or at least have stability in this lane. If he secures early game, allow him to be able to farm safely without being pressured here by the Rivet of Thipper, then you're gonna have a decent amount of time here in the first 5 minutes before the objectives spawn up. BRU, the clock is ticking a little bit for them in their early game presence, because if we compare, you know, Invate Esports composition and BRU, yeah, BRU's composition is highly aggressive, and it does have a lot of crowd control, sustain, and set up. They are gonna rely so much on Thipper and Valdos later on for the execution, but they have to be very cautious of Invate Esports scaling, because not only do they have the scary Aatrox and the Akali, the crowd control is also immense on their side. Not only that, they also have the Enchanted Crystal Arrow that can provide that initial interaction favoring Invade Esports, especially when it hits the crucial members of BRU.
Yeah, Gang's coming down though, and the first blood coming in, but a counter gang at the top lane. Merly is there and will hit the Q. But what the Jess... Oh, okay, Noel though, very quick to respond. Wants to make this a 3v3 skirmish, but very quick gank by Valdes secures the first blood for Bank. And that is pretty decent for BRU, and they were able to defend against the potential gank from Merly as well in the Baron lane. So, you know, BRU, all things considered, they are pretty much ahead in terms of, you know, macro and the value of an early game jungler right now.
And it's interesting that BRU also went aggressive in the bot side. In the esports, well, for Rich, he was alone, and Murray was a little bit too far to help him in that interaction. And BRU, they did not hesitate to get that Invate Esports on the top side. I think the hesitation kind of gave a negative outcome on that small skirmish. And BRU, as they get any lead, this is a team that obliterates enemies when they get ahead. They do not let their lead easily get taken away from them. Now, well, in the mid lane, yeah, he's very stable here. Might need a gank from Merly, but despite that, I don't think he is going to be threatened at all. This is a Wukong.
Oh, it hits! A Chad Crystal Arrow hits, and that's immediately a gank. That's 3 people. He uses ultimate, but he's not going to be able to get away. Flash out, and BluffX is in the right place, right time to intercept the monkey, and they get that kill for free. Valdez, though, coming in to defend the turret before any more damage can be done, but they've already got on the turret plate. In the top lane, though, Azrael taking a lot of damage from Thipper. He's already got his ultimate as well. What the Jess, though, a little bit too late there. And, man, those homing crystal arrows. Yeah, that is just... Woo! You set that up from all the way in the Baron lane.
Caster Curse 2023, Gyung is the name. I just recently, complimented Noel on his...
what a There's the ultimate as well! Big displacement, and Azrael's forced to ult, but that is a lot of resources for pretty much nothing because Azrael and Raven weren't in the right positions to get pushed backwards into Pipper, and that was a pretty good play, but risked a lot for nothing there.
Yeah, we got a little bit excited. Even Thipper was shocked with the flash there of What the Jess, and that is a problem. If you expend your flash on the Gragas, you kinda will lack presence for team fights in the next upcoming minutes. So right now, Invate Esports is responding with a top side objective. Rift Herald is gonna help them so much gain some gold, and they're even starting up to What the Jess now, which doesn't have any flash. So he has to play it a little bit back. His cask is also on cooldown. Good job by Valdez, though, starting the Mountain Dragon already. And this forces Invade Esports to commit onto the Rift Herald.
Yeah, and the Rift Herald, she is a tanky lady. So there is quite a lot of chance for a lot of team fights coming in, because that is going to be 3v3, but the Galio is going to be coming in. Raven is incredibly low, but Valdez coming in! Yes, the Kazakhs! He's assassinating! Rich has forced the flash, but the flash coming in, the double kill for Valdez. He doesn't have the reset, though. I think he evolved Q first. Azrael's going to be there, but they're isolated, so he can definitely take this fight, although Azrael is taking a lot of CC. That is the ult coming out.
Isolation!
But look at that! He's so low! Everybody is coming so low! Noel has his ultimate! They've taken down Bakaragos. What the Justice down! And that is a 2-for-1, all things said and done. Azrael and BluffX survive.
But Valdez got most out of that team fight. He just recently secured that Mountain Dragon for BRU, and Invade Esports. There's slight hesitation on the Rift Herald, resulted to them being outpositioned in that fight. Murder was very low. They're going to be spawning this Rift Herald to take that turret down, but they need to back away now because What Jess is incoming.
Yeah, and Valdez is off on the wing. Shelly is going to go down, but that is the first turret of the game for Invade Esports, and they did get full turret plate value. So they are going to have a little bit of a gold deficit, but because they did get that turret, they did get the Rift Herald, it won't be, as bad as it would be. So, it is getting a little bit deadly. This Kha'Zix is 2-0. We got that Dusk Blade of Drakthar, got the Phage as well. They really have to, be cautious and ward up against this bug if they want to, not get surprised from the darkness, from the void of the bug.
This is the taste of Bruriram United Esports. Aggression, and zero hesitation. Invade Esports, they already should be very, very wary of that. Because Valdez, imagine seeing a Kazakh being picked up quite early into the champion selection or in the pick and bans. That just shows how confident BRU can actually be. And his rotation, his objective taken, and his repositioning across the map has been quite efficient. Comparing the gold as well on the Lee Sin and the Kazakh, we're seeing a little bit of a jump up in gold here for BRU's Valdez. Meanwhile, Merly has been, trying his very best securing or setting up for the team on team fights, but it's not turning into reality as of the moment. So now is the time to actually compare a little bit on the setups here for BRU and Invate Esports. Invate, since we're seeing a little bit of a struggle on the Lee Sin side, it gives more responsibility for Raven and Rich to set up here for the team. Because BRU, we don't see any hesitation. They go in, pretty much anyone just follows up on their initiations. So that gives more, possible angles that they can actually take for any kind of team fight. In terms of stats, though, it's not much of a difference. No, we're seeing just 1k gold lead. Invade Esports can still up to scale, especially for Azrael and BluffX.
Yeah, so I also admire, BRU's team positioning. The reason that they're able to just kind of go in whenever they want is because their team is always positioned to be in the best place. Oh, the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, big whiff! So that gives the onus onto BRU to try to go for that team fight or just defend against them. Because if that Enchanted Crystal Arrow hit Valdez, that would have been a big and spicy team fight for Invate, because that Kha'Zix, he deals a lot of damage, but he's incredibly squishy. He's a cockroach, so you can stomp on him pretty quick. 2-0, but if he's not able to move, if he can't jump away, that is a very dead bug. So BRU, very good mechanics, avoiding that ECA. Should be getting the next Rift Herald coming in. That will be the big objective coming up soon for the next team fight. Merly off on the wings with Raven. They are just trying to zone away Valdez from coming into their zone. They're trying to get some control over the river for this Rift Herald fight.
I don't think Invade Esports should be starting this Rift Herald, because BRU they can basically engage on them anytime they want. They have the cast, they have the Wukong Cyclone.
What the chest is coming in.
Well, Noel is coming his way towards top side. Tipper is taking his time. Arrow connecting.
Oh, there's a big stun. Yeah, but it didn't actually convert into anything, and this is going to be a big team fight on the back. Tipper is getting actually bullied. Just goes, then again, Tipper goes down, but now Valdez, he's not really doing much because this whole team fight is coming in, and the Wukong knocks up 5, but now Valdez, he risks everything, he didn't even get the kill, and now everybody is low on Invade. Valdez, he can go big here if he can just clean up, but no. That is not going to be possible. Oh my god, Merly is so incredibly low. They're going to be risking everything trying to take this Rift Herald. But Valdez, he says, yeah, you can take the Rift Herald. Let's just go again. Let's do the same thing that we did. Trade Rift Herald for Drake. But he's a little bit late. And Azrael is already there. He's going to contest because this is Infernal Drake. So you do not want to use this. Arrow! Whiff and a miss. Noel is in the mix. And that's going to be 3 members low. But Noel is going to go down. The damage is onto the Funky. And Valdez, he's dancing in and out. But he's too low to actually do anything. What the chest is there, he's getting bullied. Pepper is there, but what can Pepper really do in the back, because Azrael's in the front? The rampage from the Akali, and now Pepper is going to get melted. And that's a kill for the Lee Sin. Valdez, he survived so long, but the rest of his team has fallen. Suddenly, it is a swing in momentum for Invade.
Kudos to Invade Esports. They did not let Valdez shake them up. Not only in the top side fight, but also in that dragon fight. BRU, they tried to collapse onto this objective, especially with Valdez trying his best to pressure them, deal some damage, and even attempting to assassinate Raven early on. But that did not shake Invade Esports. It still allowed them to secure both the Rift Herald and the Dragon, and even get a couple of kills, 4 kills in fact, allowing them to not only recover from the 1k deficit, but now even be ahead by 2,000 against BRU. And that just happened in a short amount of time. 2 minutes to be exact. Whoa! So they need to be very, very careful. Noel is being charged here. Forced to use his Cyclone, but I think he's still going to be able to back away since BRU is now collapsing towards top side.
Yeah, but they are going to collapse on, because Rich is there. He's going Superman mode, and Merly is there. He goes for the big play, the Dragon Kick. He sacrifices his life for it, 1 for 1, jungler for jungler. So that just resets his fight, but Rich is pretty, in quite a bit of danger, but what the Jess is a little bit too low to actually engage on that. And that was looking pretty good for BRU, but this might be looking pretty bad for Tipper, because Azrael is pretty ahead. He's gonna try his best, and it's all going Crystal Arrow! The homing arrows, Giang! The homing arrows from Raven are the MVP for Invade right now.
I mean, it has been missing, not gonna lie, for quite some time, but it connected at the best possible moment. Because
When
that
it
could have
matters.
been Tipper's kill. Azrael was one to hit away from being taken down there by Tipper, but that arrow connecting saved Azrael's life. BluffX though is on top, so I think he won't be pressured that much. He can basically ask for a gap.
Oh
and the
my
arrow
God!
just now continues to hit, coming from Raven. Well, practice makes perfect indeed. And Invate Esports, they're reaching towards perfection now in game 1.
I think Raven is from Teen Titans. You know, Raven from Teen Titans, because that person is psychic with the way that these enchanted crystal arrows are just predicting the movements. But this is a little bit dangerous. What the Jess goes on to Raven into the cyclone from the monkey, and Valdez is there. He hasn't jumped in yet because Rich is a scary man. So they did do a lot of damage, but did not get a kill. Meanwhile, the kill coming in the dragon lane. They're still committing, but he goes golden just a little bit. Oh, good prediction from what the Jess to secure that kill. But now they are in trouble because there are a couple of members there. Murley doing a lot of damage with that kick, and he is going golden. But this is not good because BluffX is going to be there. He does miss the E. So there is no reason to continue with that fight for BRU. They lost what the Jess, and Herald is going to be barreling down the Baron lane, and Invate have taken full control of this match, of this game, with a almost 6,000 gold lead.
And this is what we talked about early on. Mid-game to late-game power spikes can be very scary on the side of Invate Esports. And it's happening right now. Because, well, it actually happened because of Raven helping out Azrael early into the game, and Tipper cannot pressure the lane. Now, if we compare both Baron laners, twice in a row, Tipper has died. Basically cannot threaten or contest the split push anymore of Azrael, and
speaking of Tipper, he can't contest anything. He's just getting bullied whenever he tries to get into lane. Murley and Azrael, he can't even 1v1 Azrael. He just has to give that Aatrox some respect. But Murley just tries to come in and, you know, get some stats for himself. Got 5 kills for himself, but there is a pretty big play coming in. Rich has gone golden, and that is 4 members on 1 Galio, and the Galio hasn't even died yet, but finally he will fall. The next to fall is going to be the Ashe. Yes, finally Raven goes down, and that is a pretty good fight for BRU, but the re-engage coming in from Invade, the Galio, he is coming in. BluffX, he's going to do a lot of damage, and he will be unstoppable, but Noel is coming in into the midst of everybody. He does not have Cyclone, so he won't be able to actually do much. As Valdez, he's a little bit too low to engage onto 3, especially if nobody is isolated. I think he's going to try to go for an isolate kill onto Azrael, but Murley is there. No, he's not going to. He's just going to go for the dragon while it's spawning in 5 seconds. They won't be able to get there in time to stop the start, but they should be able to contest it from Valdez.
Yeah, I'm already nervous on Valdez starting this Ocean Dragon up. Azrael's already here. An arrow is about to be thrown out.
It hits again! And everything is going wrong for BRU as they lose their 2 big members, and Bank is forced to go golden in the Zonias. The double kill for Murley, and suddenly the snowball has become a snow boulder for Invade. 17 kills to 9, 8,000 gold in the lead, and they're gonna get their 3rd Drake. They've taken every single Herald, and they're gonna go for the Baron.
Yeah, no one can contest them right now. Valdez is dead for the next 22 seconds. Tipper and Bank as well. This is gonna be a Hail Mary play by what the Jess in the well, and I'm not looking really happy with this. They're gonna try, but I don't think they can do anything about it. Just gets Dragon Raged away.
Oh my god, and then Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Raven is the Raven from Teen Titans. Every single Enchanted Crystal Arrow after the mid-game in those team fights has just been chef's kiss. He's just been super accurate, doing everything in his power to keep BRU away from his team, keep them stunned up. And everybody has been a victim of that ECA right now. Pipper, Valdez, Noel, Bank, what the Jess, they've all suffered at the hands of that Ashe. So this is not going to be good. He does get some vision there. Valdez secures that blue and then has to run away. They don't have control of their jungle. They don't have control of their lanes. It is a slow death for BRU right now.
It's very scary for Bruriram United Esports right now because they're team fighting. is not looking good as of the moment. Invate Esports does not hesitate at all anymore. Azrael is too fed. BluffX scaled up pretty well. 6-0 and 4 items already. This
there's a
that
huge.
is not including the boots, of course. And Bruriram, they're back against the ropes. Inhibitor towers taking a lot of damage.
Oh, that
And
is a
look at
bad
Azrael.
decision.
So
Valdez has to
obnoxious
flash
damage.
away. He has to get back into the fountain to heal, but all of the inhibitor turrets are gone. And Invate, they are choking out Bruriram United. A Hail Mary play coming in from the well, but will it be enough? No, it's not, as they get re-engaged on. And someone goes golden in the back. I think that is going to be Azrael. He is going to get revived, and there's a Galio. He's not able to get this ult up, but they focus the Nexus down. And with a chaotic team fight with nobody dying, it is going to be Invate for the first win.
Wow, that is such a beautiful performance by Invate Esports, and I'm really happy for their performance. Early game was a little bit shaky, but they actually found a way to let Azrael be safe scaling in the early game. BluffX as well wasn't even making any risky plays, and that allowed him to play it so efficiently into the game. Yes, times, yes, Burley died or struggled in the early game, same as Raven.
man.
But when the mid-game power spikes happened here for Invade Esports, and when BRU started to make a couple of mistakes, Invade Esports did not hesitate punishing them for it. And as Valdez is ahead in the early game, that did not affect the mid-game and late game due to the fact that Invade Esports just compressed on one another. They stayed together, not allowing the isolated damage to happen for Valdez. And as BluffX continued to scale up, and Azrael, they just started to roll over Bruriram United Esports.
Exactly, and to give Merle some credit, his map presence was absolutely on point, especially when it came to those mid-game fights. He was always where Invade needed him the most. He was ganking solo laners, and of course, these Enchanted Crystal Arrows, that one was a swing and a miss, but almost every single one after that had a huge impact on the fight. Invade won this anyway, and I gotta really give the big props to Raven, because he just knows where to aim that ECA to get the most value. And Thipper, great effort here to try to disrupt the backline, but unfortunately, his own front and back line were getting absolutely railed on the upside of the jungle. So this was just far and away a slow choke coming from Invade Esports onto BRU. And yeah, Thipper almost won this, but that ECA, just aimed it right where Thipper was going to be. He read the mind of that Riven.
And not only that, there were a couple and many times actually that Raven made some very nice Enchanted Crystal Arrow, Merle with fantastic Dragon Rage kicks that actually hit multiple members of BRU, and those small but accumulating actions actually has a significant effect not only in team fights but also in what happens during team fights. So BRU, because of those multiple disastrous happenings, they couldn't contest what Invade Esports wanted to do in the later stages of the game. And despite Valdez being ahead, we even see here in that highlight that he cannot go in once more, because we're looking at the composition that does so well in the early game, but if you miss your opportunity in the early game, you would struggle so hard in the mid to late game. Noel, when his Cyclone is on cooldown, he cannot do anything.
This team fight, nobody actually died here. Nobody actually died. Everybody lived. And they just focus the Nexus instead of each other. So here we go for the stats. Azrael with a whopping 29,000 damage. Bank actually did the most damage for BRU. I thought it would be Valdez, but really he got kind of pinched in the mid to late game when Azrael and Merle started scaling up and those Enchanted Crystal Arrows started hitting their mark. And we got a final score of 17-9. And a pretty hefty gold lead at 13,000 in favor of Invade.
And to think that BRU couldn't get any objective aside from a dragon against Invate Esports. That shows how well Invate Esports has prepared for this. And we even complimented them during the drafting phase on their lineup. The first pick on the Aatrox, them getting the Ashe and the Galio combination for the Dragon lane, and pretty much synergizing amongst each other, allowing them to have most of the win conditions that they can possibly get against BRU, and they need that. MVP is going to be Merly on the Lee Sin, having to initiate so well, especially in the mid to late game team fights. We talked about the Dragon Rage, this KDA is 5.5. Some protection for your teammates.
True. I just think that the Kazakhs lost value, when it wrapped up into the mid game, because he just wasn't able to compete. And I was about to say that BRU should ban Ashe after Raven's performance, and they did. That is a respect ban, ladies and gentlemen, because they respect the accuracy of the enchanted crystal arrows coming in from the first game. That was absolutely insane. If you guys didn't see it, it was absolutely glorious. Invate was able to turn around a losing early game because of many of the ECAs that hit, but Azriel is still going to be first picking that Aatrox, which, as we all know, incredibly deadly. But Karma once again gonna be first pick, looking like kind of same as the last draft. But BRU, if they want to keep the same draft, I think they need to identify the problems, and one of those problems is definitely the Ashe interfering in team fights. Oh, the Nautilus! I like that.
This champion was, by the way, in the second banning phase by Invate Esports, and now BRU is focusing on it to be paired up with the Karma. This gives so much initiating power for BRU, but we are seeing a response from Invate Esports. Lots of damage being built up by the Ziggs in particular to contest with the Karma's wave clear, since the Ashe has been banned away. And in terms of team fight, this is looking pretty scary. This is what we talked about as well while we were on a break. The combination of a Ziggs and a Kazakhs that BRU could have had earlier. So now it's going to be tried out or tested by Invate Esports. But I'm also liking the Jace pick here on the side of BRU, though I think they would need to possibly ban out the Corki, since we do see it being picked up most of the time when Jace is picked up by the enemy team, and most of the time as well we do see the Corki winning.
Yeah, Noel on that Defender of Tomorrow. Jace, tell us if you guys did watch Arcane back in 2021. I believe they did say that it could be coming out this year, maybe next year. Hope you guys are ready for that, because that's one of the best animated series that we ever seen. But back to this game, I do think Corki should definitely be given a priority. They did not ban Corki whatsoever. They did take down the Galio Akali combo though, so that is pretty annoying to deal with, especially in the last game. So BRU, heavy respect bans. They did take out Lee Sin. That option for Valdez is gone. So he does have a couple of good options still. But I'm kind of curious to see, because those heavy impact early game junglers are going to be a big factor coming into this game. Renekton coming out, so they're saving the jungle pick for last. Very interesting.
Okay.
They will be picking next. I definitely do expect to see a Corki here.
So BRU does have poke, they have tons of engage, they have sustain, they have the shields, they have the mobility, they have the early game presence towards mid game, and possibly some late game scaling as they are to decide which champion they are going to be choosing for their last pick. But in Invate Esports, what they have is a buff up team. That is tons of ways they can actually control the map once more. You have the Mega Inferno Bomb, you have the isolation damage, you have the late game scaling Aatrox, for Christ's sake, and you have the Garen and the Gragas to shake things up against Bruriram United Esports. We saw BRU utilize the Garen yesterday. This time it's going to be used by Invade Esports. The Gragas does wonders during team fights, but it can also conflict as well on the Zig. So they have to be very synchronized on the team fights, because if you use the cast when the Ziggs wanted to use the Mega Inferno Bomb, then that's gonna pose some problems here for Invade Esports.
Exactly. Exactly. Although I do think that the Ziggs will, with that Mega Inferno Bomb, can just shut down any teamfight attempts from BRU. But from what I'm seeing from BRU's composition, they do want to put a lot of protection on Cold and Feet and Noel. They're putting 3 big beefy champions in front, even though, you know, Shyvana and Renekton, you can play them damage. You definitely can play them damage, and that's going to hurt quite a bit. But I think in this situation, it's better to keep them as kind of bodyguards in the front, because their damage is kind of poke based, with both Jace and Karma in the mix on their mid and dragon laners. So a little bit of a deviation from their very aggressive early game plan that we did discuss earlier. However, Invate, that is still a very scary late game with the Ziggs and the Aatrox. So that is going to be very interesting to watch, especially with a Garen too, to just kind of be all around the map.
I'm also looking at BRU right now on the Shyvana pick. It's refreshing to see, you know, the Shyvana, it has been buffed up previously, long time ago, and having to see it once more is gonna be switched up by BRU. Not so sure though if it's gonna be enough to shake the composition here of Invate Esports, because they have so much frontline, so much damage, so much scaling, and even early game potential, depending on how they actually want to pose it in this particular game number 2. So BRU, despite them being quite creative in game number 1, they have to look for more ways to open it up here in game number 2, because even if this is a best of 5 series, Invate Esports already has secured first point. So if they secure another point here, that's match point, and that poses so much pressure to BRU or some sort of team that is competing in a best of 5, because you would need to climb one high of a mountain in order to change the tides around. And as we start here in game number 2, let's see who is going to be coming on top this time.
All right, so I'm very interested to see how the Shyvana pick is going to work out. This is, if I'm not mistaken, the first Shyvana pick of the open qualifiers that we've seen. I don't see anywhere on the data sheet another Shyvana, so BRU definitely gonna have to get a little creative here with their game plan, because Shyvana definitely is not an early game ganker, will definitely lose a lot of efficiency. But I think the onus is going to be on Thipper to not give up kills when Merly tries to gank top, because Valdez is not going to be able to properly respond himself. So it's going to be, I think, down to the junglers to dictate how the pace of this game goes, although early trades coming in favor of Noel on Bluff X. But of course, it is a Garen. He does have that regen passive, so all he has to do is kind of stand around, not get hit, and Noel definitely did not hit him there.
Yep, Garen actually is one of the most stable, surprisingly, one of the most stable mid lane champions that professional teams actually use in the professional scene, because not only do you have your passive for the healing, but it's actually quite difficult to kill you, especially with the shield. And now Invate Esports looking to, or opting to, rotate or get around across the map now to contest BRU, since what the Jess usually does is also look for picks, especially with this Nautilus pick. Golden Feet and Raven is just gonna have a boring time in the bot lane. Yeah, farm fest, and try to get all those CS, while the supports are gonna be looking for picks in top and mid. But Noel and Bluffix might not be contesting that much. So since Valdez is gonna scale after Shyvana, BRU might struggle a little bit on their intent.
Yeah, so I think BRU, the longer they get into this game without giving up anything to Invade, the better they're gonna be. But yeah, it's Noel gonna be taking a little bit of damage, but you can see how kind of weak Aaron is. Whoa, Raven incredibly low, but Merly's gonna be going for a gank right here. Golden Feet should be able to get away scot-free. Just a little bit of emoting, just a little bit of BM between friends here. And Golden Feet Yeah, I'm here. What's up? I'm just putting some pressure on you so you don't kill my Ziggs. That's all he's trying to say. That's the message from the Kazakhs. Meanwhile, the Shyvana was kind of power farm, get to that power spike. But speaking of, look at this. Just what the Jess, they know he's in there, but he does land the hook still coming in as Thipper will be able to engage here. Asriel, he did get ignited, so that's going to be a little bit of a call off there. Merly has appeared in the Baron lane now. So Thipper and what they just have to be careful, but Thipper, he is not afraid to slice and dice and hew away. He's just a very slippery crocodile right now.
Yeah, Thipper on the Renekton. This is pretty much a standard pick. It's a very stable Baron laner champion that teams usually opt to get to have more safe farming in the laning phase, and also some tools to initiate. I mean, this is Thipper. He can be quite aggressive. He is actually quite a bit ahead against Asriel. We're seeing a 200, 300 gold lead by Thipper, and that should give him a little bit of a confidence, especially that what the Jess is also helping him out in the top side. Baldus is just happily farming as a Shyvana, and this is what you would normally want when you're opting to use this champion. So Invate Esports, BRU, I think they're just shaking their hands right now onto each other. Okay, let's just chill it out in the early game. Let's wait for the first objective before we actually fight.
Yeah, gentleman's agreement, no early ganks, just we farm up. But honestly, that is really good for Bruriram United because Invate, they really want to get the snowball going for both Asriel and Merly because, you know, Kazakhs, a feast or famine champion. If he's not feasted, he's in a famine. Valdus doesn't really care about that, but the sun coming in will lead to the dredge line coming out, as well as the World Ender going to be the first blood for Bruriram.
Yeah, quick timing, a fantastic timing by what the Jess. The moment that his red line connected, there was basically nothing that Asriel can actually do. Despite having the bar, he actually did not pop it up since his teammates was just so far away and he couldn't just escape anymore, especially when the depth charge was casted. So quick lead here by Thipper, increasing actually. Golden Feet is forced to flash away, but will still die on hands. But
with revenge.
Good job by Noel.
Yeah, Noel with the trade right there, but that is pretty bad for Golden Feet, especially since the Ziggs was just able to kind of farm up real quick, and he's going to be available for this Drake fight. But already there's the ultimate from the Shyvana turning Dragon form. Bluff X has been ignited. That's a little bit of an overkill as he was already burning, but to secure the kill, he went for it. And now Rich is in a bad spot as the double kill comes in for Valdus.
Wow.
And that Shyvana going to get the Dragon as well. This is looking like, you know, a really good start for Bruriram United, especially since they were able to stop the Kazakhs from really scaling out. He does get the chilling smite, and now he's in the bush. There it is, the isolation damage, the auto attack from Merly secures that kill, and the attempt to start the Herald, but Golden Feet is there. He can't harass with the Karma. Raven is there to prevent as well, and now the rest of Bruriram United is coming through, but only 2,000, 2-8 left on the health of Shelly. Are they going to actually engage here as the Damashian standard comes down? Well, not the Damashian standard, but the justice from Garen. I forgot that was a Jarvan skill, but Golden Feet once again sacrifices his life. Unfortunately, they weren't able to contest that Herald.
It is also quite confusing why BRU opted to attempt contesting that Rift Herald. Because Valdus doesn't have the Dragon form available. It's just a little quarter stacking on his ultimate, so they have no tools actually to contest Invade Esports, and that just cost them one more casualty, in which it actually helps. Birdie is on a 2-1 standing. Raven
no, Golden Feet, watch out! He gets scared! He takes half of his health into the Gragas ult, and then just alley-oop into Raven's auto attack. They gotta cast the Rift Herald right into mid, get that turret plate, go for themselves. And Golden Feet, he has got to stop being in places on his own. But a big flash into the depth charge, into the Dragon form, and the Ziggs has disappeared, and so will the Gragas go next as Merly has to get away from them. They say, no Rift Herald, but we do have a Dragon of ourselves, Shyvana, and what are you doing, Bluffix? You're gonna get stunned up, you're gonna get knocked off into a killing spree for Noel.
No.
That's 3 kills for the Jace, 3 kills for the Shyvana, and the scaling has started.
And a big oopsie by Invate Esports. What were you doing there, Bluffx? I think he anticipated that maybe BRU would take some time to take that tower down, but no, that's not what happened, bro. And quickly, his HP just melted. Props onto BRU as well on how synergized they were in that engage. Everyone went in the moment that what the Jess flashed in onto Raven, and that resulted them into recovering their gold lead once more. 4,000 being reflected on the screen, them having the utmost advantage as well in terms of the kills. Objective-wise, they are ahead in terms of dragon stacks and turrets, so this is looking quite good for Bruriram United Esports.
Yeah, and they haven't even lost their mid turret, even with the Shelly charge coming in from mid. So, I mean, even though Golden Feet is, you know, kind of behind right now, he's only 500 gold behind. He also has his Ludens as well as Raven, so he's really not all that behind, all things considered. Thipper, though, is taking quite a bit of damage from Azriel in the top, or in the Baron lane. But I think there's a fight gonna be going on here. What the Jess has been engaged on by Merly. Boom! Oh, he goes Golden! Golden Feet is there. He's gonna go for the shield, but he just barely misses the timing. And then 1 versus 3 in the Dragon Farm. He doesn't even care! He doesn't care. He almost kills the Ziggs. He almost kills the Kha'Zix. And now he's facing a 1v4. He forces the flash, but Azriel, he has way too much damage. Oh my god! He gets the hop off, and Raven forces the he still gets the kill on the Ziggs! That's a double kill for him! And the rest of his team, Rich has been, oh my god, he's been ignited, but he goes Golden, and then wow! Azriel sacrifices his life, but Gragas gets away. That's a 3 for 2. Sorry, 3 for 1 even. That was a 3 for 1.
And a disaster once again on the Invade Esports. Oh no, oopsie after oopsie, and BRU are being hapsy onto it. Valdez bought so much time that fight, everyone chased him, but Golden Feet catched up and basically killed, or helped the members of BRU kill 3 again people from Invade Esports. And Valdez right now, well, he died, but look at his score.
He's 5-1
and 3. He's
1,000 gold up.
Drag. Yeah,
1,000 gold up on his lane opponent, on his jungle opponent. Merly, man, as I said, feast or famine champion. Right now, he is famine compared to what Valdez is doing, and it's gonna be so dangerous to try to contest this Drake with an active Shyvana, with an active Dragon form. But they will be going for the Herald, just kind of sneaking it along as the rest of Invate just tries to focus on Thipper, but he does not get away. He tried to slice and dice into the Flash, but he did not have Flash, unfortunately. They do get the Rift Herald, so they're going to drop it and then go for maybe a Dragon fight. I think they could win it 4v5 or even 4v4 because Burley is forced to back out. He is low 1 health. So, okay, there's the engage. There's the Dragon coming in, force the Flash away from Azriel. So, now that Valdez is in Drake form, gonna have to go for the Mountain Drake here to make it worth it. So there's 4 of them, but Merly should be coming there soon. He is gonna reach it. They do have Smite before they will have Smite to contest before the Renekton is able to come back. So they're just gonna be doing the traditional dragon dance around the river, while BRU and Invade, you know, they want to force a fight here. They want to force somebody to make a move. Oh, ow! That is 25% of Raven's health from 1 enhanced Q.
Just chipped away. And commendable efforts as well by BRU, because they're investing quite a lot in anti-healing and grievous wounds. Invade Esports are starting.
Valdez is really far.
Very risky. They're gonna go in.
Oh, Mega Bomb coming out and does quite a bit of damage, and they do secure the Mountain Drake, but Valdez is now coming from the back. He does not have Dragon form, but that doesn't matter because he still does a lot of damage. All of the health bars are going low on Invade. 2 have already gone down, and there's a Flash. Raven is the next victim, but he does go Golden before he gets finished off by the Shyvana. Merly now next. He dives back right into the Dragon Pit, but there's a ward there. They know exactly where he is. They're going to be chasing this bug away. Oh wait, they have to do it together because he can't be isolated, and he gets his fight, goes Golden. A little bit of that BM as Nautilus takes the kill. They're going to take another tower for their troubles, and with the Death Timer still, but they can start on this inhib turret as Rich is the only one defending.
Oh, BRU, they saw what happened there ultimately. That is quite a sad moment for the Kha'Zix, but also a an oopsie once more here by Invate Esports. I don't even know why they committed onto that dragon. It resulted, yeah, you got the dragon, okay? But it resulted into 4 casualties. What's that gonna give into you? Nothing but
8,000
more
gold.
gold deficit against BRU, and BRU is very, very happy right now with the stats that is occurring onto their side because they scale so tremendously well. Valdez was very confident even if he doesn't have that dragon form earlier, and gotten a couple of kills and even pressured Invade Esports to just retreat far back and not even being successful at it. So now BRU just making the dance, clearing out the topside jungle of Merly, and we're gonna see them just attempt on a team fight once more. Dredgeline.
Oh, what the just? Spider-Manning his way to intimidation as he forces the rest of Invate away, as they know they have to back. So this is a perfect Baron opportunity, but it is warded. So Invate is going to know if they try to go for it. So this Death Rush is not going to be that effective. They might as well just start it and force the fight, force the issue from Invate. But you know, this they're trying to do a Froggen and become best actor, fake that Baron so that Invade is baited into it as they think that the Baron is doing damage. But BRU, they are just playing the poke game before the engage. This is how they want their team fights to go. They want the poke coming in, the shock blasts, and the Mantricus coming in from Noel and Golden Feet to butter up the members of Invade before they commit to a big Siobhan ultimate.
Yeah, BRU is just prepping everything now for themselves. And we don't even see that much of a potential now by Invade Esports. They have been trying quite a lot of times already, but it's not resulting positively for their side. And BRU, now they're just waiting. They have scaled up effectively already. They are ahead 7,000. They can wait for the Baron. They can engage just like that. There's nothing that Bluff X can actually do.
Death Charge, and Bluff X is gonna go down as Valdez has just found a really, really good engagement. Garen is gone, but now under the tower, someone goes golden. It is the Rednecked, and Fipper is in trouble, but that turret should be taken on Asriel. That flash for nothing. He still goes down, and the jungle is too low to actually contest this. Rich and Raven, they're trying to do their best to harass from a far distance, but the flash is, the smite is still available for Valdez. They will get that Baron. They will get the kill out the Rich, and now Merly is kind of late here to try to get anything, and Valdez is too healthy for them to try to go for a re-engage. So BRU, they are 10 kills ahead. They are almost 10,000 gold ahead. And they have the Baron. What can they do with this power play, as What the Jess is going to drive Merly away? They can definitely get this turret, but a turret in the mid lane is what they're going to be paying for it.
Yeah, BRU, they have a hold breaker on Noel, same as a Bluff X, but I don't think Bluff X can do anything right now.
Another Death Charge, and he's gonna get Dredgeline into all of the CC. He goes down as it's going to be a 3v3 to Shyvana Dragons again as Merly comes in. He's a little bit too late. Golden, What the Jess, he gets knocked back into the range. But look at that! The AoE of the Dragon has just wrecked everybody! Look at the health bars. Invade is going down. It's going to be an ace almost as Merly just barely clings to life. A sliver of health left for the Kazakhs, but now the Nexus is open and this could be it. BRU is going to end it right here. They take the ace in the base before the Nexus goes down, tying the series 1-1.
Wow, such a fantastic performance this time by Bruriram United Esports. A gentleman's agreement in the early game definitely made worth it more by Bruriram United Esports when it mattered the most. And Invade Esports, despite their efforts, yeah, we saw some questionable plays that they actually made all throughout the game, and that resulted into a catastrophic sequence of events for Invade Esports. The gank on top side, props actually there for What the Jess. That started off the lead way for Tipper to gain the leverage against Azriel.
Yeah, and I gotta say, Merly, he did play a little bit too aggressive while Valdez was, getting so much value by just farming up. And I gotta say, Valdez, he's gotta have MVP here. this Shyvana just did so much work. For the first time that we're seeing Shyvana in this tournament, Valdez has just kind of, I think, made other teams reconsider the value of the Dragon Lady here, because that was just too much for Invate to deal with, especially if since Merle was not able to really get too much value from being an assassin bug. Although they did get some really good kills, by and large, BRU's team fighting, look at those engages. What can you even do there? The Ziggs was stunned for too long. He couldn't even go golden. He couldn't prevent it from happening. And Bluff X, he tried to be tanky, quote unquote, but he was just not doing the damage that he needed. He wasn't shredding the health bars. And this, a beautiful chase from Valdez. He just got everybody low, got the blast cones up, goes for the intimidation here, and goes for the flash kill, while the rest of his team came from the back to support him. He did go down eventually, but at the cost of nearly everybody from Invade.
Yeah, we just saw more efficient calls and executions on the side of BRU this time, and props to them solely because of their huge improvement. And also, you know, this pick on the Shyvana, this allowed them to actually have so much scaling power compared to their performance in game number 1, in which we saw them struggling in the mid to late game fights. Here we see a little bit of a blooper onto Merlin and Merle, and that was a little bit sad on his part. But basically, at that point of the game, even a few minutes prior, it's basically BRU's game. There's nothing that Invate Esports can actually do. Merle cannot engage because no one is gonna isolate or fall back, since everyone wants to go in, and everyone is just so scary on the side of BRU. Here we see the last fight that they actually had before they decided to finally end the game. And we see Valdez being so scary. Not even if he is not on the dragon form, he is still scary. We saw it.
Oh my god, look at that burst.
Dragon fight. The burst is, well, out of this world.
that was too real. And look, that damage, 22,000 damage in a 15-minute game. I gotta say, Valdez really made the most of that Shyvana pick. The gold was not as, it's not as huge. It's 12,000 gold lead, but 22-8. This is what happens when BRU gets their game plan right against Invate, as they knew that Invate was going to go for a more early game focused plan, trying to scale up Azriel and Raven for the late game, but BRU really did not let Merle pop off. If they let that Kha'Zix go off, it would have been a wholly different story. But Valdez was pretty smart with his pathing, pretty much avoided Merle for most of the early game, and he let Noel, Fipper, Bank deal with the bug. So he just focused on what Shyvana does best, which is farming and controlling the jungle, and that was why BRU got that win. It's now 1-1, and in a best of 5, that is this is gonna be pretty spicy, Giang. I feel it. 17.0 KDA.
And 77 kill participation. Valdez was basically a monster in game number 2 on this champion, Shyvana. And it definitely shook the members here of Invate Esports.
Try to do that early game aggression with Merle picking up Kha'Zix, try to get Azriel scaled up. But it really didn't work out for them when BRU was able to just hold their lanes, hold the line against the opposition from Invate. They did switch their support up to the Baron lane pretty early on. So, Invate, they tried to do that strategy, tried to bully Fipper, but it didn't work. And because BRU was able to hold on till about 5-6 minutes without giving up a kill, they were able to get the first blood, they were able to get Valdez scaling, and then that Shyvana just carried the entire game. So now the bans are going to be coming out. Invade taking out the Gwen, the Yumi, the Nautilus. BRU still heavily respecting Raven, banning out Senna and Ashe, as well as Camille, because Camille is just way too good right now.
So what the Jess was just too good on the Nautilus that if they forced Invade Esports to actually ban it away, leaving the Aatrox open, and them actually picking up the Fiora, which they have banned consistently in the first 2 games. So BRU does have the Aatrox available for the taking. They will take it. They can pair it up as well with the Karma, which which Golden Feet actually was performing quite well in the first 2 games. Despite them losing in game number 1, it was very, very stable, even having the highest damage in that game number 1. He's going to be picking it up. Such good picks here for both teams.
Yeah, so definitely the combo of Aatrox Karma has to be respected. But once again, because there is a Fiora, that's going to be a little bit of a skill matchup there in the top lane. And now Merly does not want to get off of this cockroach because Kha'Zix is really signaling that you're going to be aggressive in the early game. You want to get picks, you want to get your lanes fed, you want them to snowball as early as possible, especially that top lane, because Azrael, as the game goes on, will be having worse and worse of a time against Thipper on a Riven. Yeah. Yep, that's going to be going up to Thipper probably, unless Noel wants to play Riven in the mid lane.
So redemption stories are about to partake here for Invate Esports and BRU. Merly wants to redeem his Kha'Zix. BRU, well, just on the Ribbon pick, I'm not so sure if Tipper is going to be using this or Noel, because flex picks are flex picks for a reason. It can go anywhere, and the BRU is no stranger to that. But I am commending Invade Esports for picking the Galio this time. It worked in game number 1 tremendously well, and it allowed them to create so much space for them and deny mobility on BRU. And now, as they pick it up once more in game number 3, this will signal BRU to maybe hesitate a little bit on engaging and have Invade Esports more security, because Fiora will just go in, Kha'Zix is gonna go in alongside with Azrael, and the Grand Challenge alongside with the Hero's Entrance, that is such a big pressure for team fights.
Yeah. And you cannot fight in that area if you are BRU, because that is just too many things going on in a large part of the map. So they are predictably going to go for a champion that has large disruption capabilities, and that's going to be the Great Goose, the Gragas. But Corki will be picked up here for Invade Esports. Really good pick, especially into potentially a melee mid laner. So I wonder how that's going to be shaking out, if Noel's going to be picking up Aatrox or Riven.
I do recall when Corki was kind of like the premier mid lane champions way back in the earlier seasons of Wild Rift, and but it kind of got out of way when there was a nerf on the package. Now we're seeing it being back, though it's mostly being used in the Dragon lane as well. So maybe Invade Esports is gonna try to do what Noel did, but better in the mid lane, having the Wukong being picked up here. We are going to be finalizing the positions here of the champions later on, but as BRU locks in the Jace here for their side, this is a stable lineup that BR actually has. Not only do they have tremendous amount of poke, they have good initiation, good setup, good disruption with the Gragas, good sustain with the Karma, and quick burst with the Riven and the Jace. So in terms of early game to late game, this is well balanced for BRU, and I'm commending them already for it. Invade Esports, they're going to be having a lot of options actually still in their game. Not only that, they have split push available for them, but it requires Azrael to actually be ahead. Because even if they have global presence with the Galio, so much crowd control with the Wukong as well, good late game with the Corki, and assassination potential with the Kha'Zix, it requires them to get ahead of BRU at some point. Okay. And that's the main thing to be worried about, because BRU, they showed their strength in game number 2, and they're about to attempt on doing that as well in game number 3. So Invade Esports, they have to, step on the gas pedal even harder.
Yeah, but if you're seeing what I'm seeing, guys, this is going to be an interesting match. Valdez is going to be picking up the Jace in the jungle. So we don't usually see Jace in that role. He's much more efficient in the mid, as we saw with Noel in the last game. He really did a number against Invade as Jace, but it's going to be Noel on Riven, Thipper on Aatrox. So a very, very interesting start here for BRU. I wonder how they're going to play this out, because in terms of anti-stratting, this is an anti-strat of anti-strats. Invade is playing a very well-known game here. Their game plan is clear cut. They want a team fight. They want those big AoE abilities, those ultimates to come in during the mid and late game. But of course, they want Merly to start the snowball early on. But BRU, this is going to be, you know, I hesitate to say standard. It is definitely not standard, but it doesn't not make sense, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Jace in the jungle, it's not really you know, relatively new. It's just not uncommon. It's just not that too common, I would say.
Yeah.
But it can work, especially that BRU is opting it right now. And I think the main intention as well is to secure both Riven and the Aatrox. And now, as they complete their composition, it poses a lot of threat actually on Engage. Tipper is so comfortable with this Riven, and despite being or having a hard time in game number 1, he actually was very consistent in
big Engage here, level 1
bot side.
Yeah, the level 2 power spike from BRU is going to be paying off their intimidating Invade, but Raven and Rich have found their own level 2s. Rich is forced to back out really early. That gives a lot of river control over to BRU, but Cold Feet is very low compared to Raven, so he will have to back off as well. So just a little bit of early control, but a very early guy from Valdez will force Bluff X away, but because he is Wukong, he can just use his phone to get away scot-free.
This is what's beautiful, actually, even with the Jace pick, because Jace doesn't have initiation, but hold the thought, because
hold up, because that is the initiation that we're looking for as Riven comes in, the Aatrox comes in and knocks up the Galio, but they're still kind of hesitating to commit to this because Merly, he is still in range to just dive under the turret. Oh, the Shock Blast catches 2 of them, brings them down pretty low, but now Merly is going to be contesting. Yeah, that's not something that What the Jest really wants to have happen. He is a little bit healthy, but Merly is now full health, and there is no Riven in sight because she is back home. So they're going to be focusing on the Kha'Zix. He has to go jump. He has Flash available, so he's going to use it now. What the Jest still chasing, just try to get him away, but now there he is. Asriel, they turn. He gets the grand duel, but he hasn't popped everything yet, and he's too low. And Jace goes back in and to the skies. He brings Fiora to the ground, and that's 3 kills immediately. A double kill for Valdez, and they try to re-engage. Bluff X, they surprise. 2 double kills for BRU. 4 kills to 0. 2 minutes and 30 into the game, Gia.
Props to BRU, and so disastrous for Invate Esports. I think Invate Esports was hesitating and wasn't that much coordinated whether to go in or out. Some people try to go in, some people committed onto the fight, but the others didn't actually follow it up. And BRU, we didn't sense anything of that onto them. They basically committed all in on that fight, and that led them to having the slightest difference in damage calculations that actually led them into this 2,000 of a gold lead and 4 kills at 3-minute mark. Most of it actually is even funneled onto Valdez. I mean, What the Jest got 2 kills, and yeah, it's not the best gold funneling, but that doesn't matter. They're still ahead by 2k.
Very, very ahead, and because Valdez did get that huge injection of gold, he's already completed his Yo moves. He's going to be a very speedy boy as he comes into gank more. But look at this engage coming in from Fipper. He gets taunted and he gets grand dueled, but What the Jest is there to keep him away. They just wasted the Fiora ult. Fipper's going to be able to heal back up. And, well, BRU, they know their limits here. As Valdez, he's going to get isolate damage, but oh my god, that first Merly, he's going to get chased down by Asriel, finishes him off, and now the Corki is trapped under the turret. Raven, there is nowhere for you to run. He tries to flash out, but he gets double killed, and now the Cyclone from Wukong. Bluff X, he's not strong enough to actually get the kill yet. He gets rooted in place. He tries to go for the Cyclone. Oh my god, the killing spree for Valdez Rich. His ultimate was a little bit too late. The hero's entrance, he was not early enough to save his buddy, unfortunately. So that's 7-0 in favor of BRU.
And everyone has a first item already completed on the side of Bruriram United Esports. Early Warmogs as well here for What the Jest. He's just gonna be so tanky and have a lot of sustain with his passive. Invate Esports, they're definitely struggling so hard right now in the early game. 3,000 gold lead, that is well, not as disastrous as the 10,000 gold lead, but at 5 minutes into the game, that is pretty scary. And to think that BRU does have such late game scaling, that poses a lot of threat to Invate Esports. We talked about the win conditions here of Invate Esports, and it's definitely the absolute reverse that's happening right now.
Yeah, and we thought that this would be a scaling composition, but Valdez was just like, you know what, no. Jace is a champion that deals a lot of damage. I want to, get a lot of value from him in the early game. He's even soloing the Drake right now. The package comes in from Raven. Can Raven actually 1v1 him? He does have exhaust, but look at that damage coming in from Valdez, even through the exhaust, and now Golden Feet is there, and Rich tries to save his buddy, but that does mean he gets knocked up, has to use his flash to get away. And for that Drake, they're going to Invate is trying to go for the Herald, but they don't have the smite yet. They stole it actually! Oh my god, BRU are just going insane. The exhaust onto the Fiora into the root, but he does root them back. Asriel, he is nowhere to run, nowhere to hide when 4 members of BRU are chasing you down. So they're gonna drop Shelly as well, get the first turret, and it's starting to look like not just a snowball, but a blizzard in favor of Bruriram United Esports.
Oh, props to what the Jazz and Golden Feet. They pressured Invate Esports to actually fall back. Merly had to use the smite just to sustain himself, and that gave so much leverage for Valve to just easily take the Rift Herald away from them. All the hard work in starting the Rift Herald gone, and BRU just says thank you. And look at the pace of the game, look at the stats here in this game, look at the towers, look at the kills, look at everything. This is pretty much a perfect game so far in the first 7 minutes of BRU, and Invade Esports are being bubbled down in the bot side.
They don't even care about BluffX being on their tower. They say, we'll take that fight any day. We're going to clear minions, and then we're going to harass you. Look at that. The barrel roll coming in, taking them down to almost 10% health. And the rest of Invate, they're trying to help out. But with Wukong out of the picture, what can they really do? Raven just harasses them, but that's not really a team comp that can stop a tower push from happening here. So Bruriram, they have everything in their corner. As you said, a pretty much perfect game. Oh my god, that enhanced shock blast. That just hurts like you're having your heart broken on Valentine's Day, buddy, because that took away almost half of his health.
That is a heartbreak and an HP break literally here for Wild Rift. Oh, and Valdez just hurt so much. 504, almost a more items being picked up here by Valdez. Bruriram United Esports with a 5k gold lead. Everything is just being taken here by this very, very strong team. Invade Esports, okay, let's try to extract some information out of them, but before that, unengage.
Yeah, because of the aheadness of BRU, they're comfortable just taking everything. They engage every single team fight. As soon, that was just a drive-by. As soon as Invade shows their face, it's just engage. BluffX is too low, he has to flash out, and now Asriel, he's overcommitted. He's going to die, and that is a godlike chase. And now Merly is getting cornered. The rampage for the Aatrox, and there's 0 kills for Invade. Every single fight has been going the way of Bruriram United, and this isn't just a stomp, This is a stomp and a half. This is a march. They're stomping repeatedly over Invade's head.
This is a big stomp, a Titan stomp, just like in the anime. Yeah, that's how crushed Invade Esports right now is in this game. And BRU, they are just having the possibly best time of their life. In this game number 3, we talked about improvements. This is an obliteration that BRU is making. This game number 3, 9 minutes in. That is a almost 10,000 gold lead and 0 win conditions being shown by Invade Esports. Lots of attempts, but nothing comes into surface here for Invade Esports. Tepper is having a blast against Asriel. But okay, let's be a little bit optimistic here for Invade Esports. Because they make another drive-by in bot lane. That is pretty much done. But Invade Esports, let's look at them individually. On the bright side, Asriel is not that far behind onto Thipper. Raven is not that far behind onto Golden Feet. The ones that are just obnoxiously ahead are Valdez and Noel. What the Jess as well. But the others are actually being able to keep up. So maybe they can find a way. Maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but Valdez is just taking this game over. He's already got 3 items, and that makes him just incredibly sticky. He's got Yomus, he's got Black Cleaver, he's got the Dustblade of Drekthar. So every single hit from his Enhanced Shock Blast is going to take at least half health. He's going to take Rip Health for free. And Drake is spawning in 15 seconds, and definitely Bruriram, they are positioning towards that. They also have Smite because Valdez he just took the Rift Herald with his overwhelming damage. So if Invate does not get this Drake, it is curtains for them. This is their one chance to try to catch Bruriram off guard.
Yeah. Well, they had quite a lot of chances, and they would still have quite a bit of chances. I mean, this is just a standard Drake. Maybe if it was a Baron, or maybe if it was an Elder Dragon, here it would be, well, BRU is just too far ahead to even consider an Elder Dragon.
Yeah. I don't think we're even gonna reach Elder Drake at this point. It's way too... the snowball has become way too big right now, and Noel with his Aatrox, he's 1v2ing, he's gonna get dueled by Fiora, but that's fine because Thipper is there to respond as well. He is 1 HP away, but the rest of the team is coming out. They are cornering this Fiora to the skies, takes him down, and the rest of the team is trying to run away from the Jess and Valdez. What the Jess doesn't even die, he goes golden and rich to the skies once again, flash in, and Jace gets a quadra kill.
BRU still with a perfect game. Invate Esports has no chance because BRU is not giving them any. And they are just marching out the base of Invate Esports.
This game is over.
But that is just a mere presence. You know, going so hard here for Invate Esports. This might be the closest point that BRU almost had someone die. What the Jets do?
Yes, almost had someone die.
Yeah, but so far it's a perfect game for
20 to 0.
So much. This is too much,
guys. Guys, this is not a typical game. All right, results may vary. Oh, Golden Feet. They tried to go 3v1 against the Karma, who has 1 kill. They couldn't even do that. They couldn't chase down the Karma, but they're going to try to chase down the Aatrox. He goes golden into the Zonius, but what the Jess is there as well. He's ready to disrupt, and it's fine because look at this. Thipper is going to be coming into the mix, and he does have to drive them all away. And Valdez is here, that has Shock Blast. He's going to take the rest of them. He's going to chase them away. The Hammer of Doom coming in. The Monkey has already died. Bluff X is out of the picture. And Valdez, as soon as he came in, Invate turned tail and ran. They knew that they cannot win a team fight if Valdez is there. They tried to go for the individual picks, Gyung, but they couldn't because they're too far behind. So BRU, this is flawless so far.
And they're not even giving away any chance for Invate Esports to come back. Not even a tower. Tipper, they're gonna engage.
Raven, he's too low, but Rich, he's gonna sacrifice his life for his ADC to get away. He's gonna go golden with the Zonius, but that's not enough. Legendary on the chase, but the health bars are getting low here. What the Jess is a little bit low, but Pipper from the back, he's gonna get a kill onto the Fiora. And look at this, Raven's gonna get chased down, goes into the Zonius, but Noel, all he has to do is swag, drift away, unstoppable. The rest of the team got the ace. On the other side, it's now 26 to 0. The death timers are way too long. They're just gonna go for the inhib. And what the Jess, he's just tanking that Nexus. 26 to 0. This is the most dominating game we have seen in the Wild Rift League Asia Open qualifiers. And BRU have just dismantled Invate Esports.
Well, you just said it, man. You just said it.
What else can we say, Guillaume?
Utmost domination, perfect game. Not a tower, not an objective, not a kill. Not a single chance for us to even say any positive thing to Invade Esports aside from nice try.
NT.
And BRU, they're just everywhere.
Everything,
They're
everywhere,
monsters,
all at
man.
once.
Yeah.
That's what BRU was. They were just everything.
It started here. It
Yeah.
started here in that mess up. Invate Esports, they
In that
they were a
4-0.
little bit confused. They weren't coordinated, and that is a different story for BRU. They committed into that fight that led them into securing a 4-0 lead and a 2,000 goal lead as well. And even on the latter team fights, here we see them being coordinated, dealing damage as the others kite away. And that consistency as a team in their synergy allowed them to win most of the fights and even have this obnoxious of a perfect game. And that's BRU for you. This is what
Yeah.
they do to their enemies. This is what they do when they are already able to warm up in their games. And this is definitely such a brilliant of a performance that Bruriram United Esports made against Invate Esports.
You know, it really started from that clash in the Baron lane. It was just Invate being a little bit too afraid of commitment. So remember, guys, don't be afraid of commitment, especially in February, the month of love. And you know what Bruriram United Esports loves? They love winning, and they would love to be in the finals of the qualifier because they are now at match point. And obviously, that game is a demoralizer for Invate. I mean, where do you go from there? How do you mentally reset from getting 26-0? No towers, no drakes, no herald. Well, no, they did get one herald, but they didn't even get the tower from the push. And everything just went right for Bruriram. Everything went wrong for Invate. So now, the onus is on Invate to mentally reset, to kind of try to anti-strat Bruriram and try to read their plans from Champ Select. But honestly, it is such a tall order, yeah.
You know what's scary about this?
Everything.
BRU, aside from everything, but I'm gonna add even more to that everything. They, after this dominating of a wreckage of an utmost performance by BRU, they are one win away from qualifying. They only and they have the possibly the best momentum to actually start game number 4. Because normally when you're coming from a lost game, you would need some resets, you would need some timeouts, and you would need something to actually increase your momentum back into order. But BRU, everything is off the roof. They are on fire, basically having this super saiyan of a moment in this series, ready to throw in that final punch onto Invade Esports. In terms of stats, Valdez on this Jace, incredible performance. And it's even reflecting here in this obnoxious damage of a 25,000, nearly 26,000 in a 14-minute game. Well, Invate Esports, they definitely have to climb a higher mountain than Mount Everest to come back in this series.
And once again, the MVP will be Valdez with a 24 KDA, guys. 92%. Yeah, it was 17, and he was like, you know what? That's not high enough for me. I'm gonna go 24, and he had 92% kill participation. To be fair, most of the kills were his. This man is just absolutely insane. He made Jungle Jace look super
in the series. BRU does it. Invade Esports has tried it. Maybe not use it in the game number 4 now for Invade Esports. Aatrox was strong for Invade Esports. It was available in game number 3. Maybe use it this time here instead of the Fiora, and maybe we'll see a positive result for them. BRU, they know already what they can do in this game. They have been very consistent with the bans. Invade Esports has been switching up the third ban here and there, but I don't think they can even pose a threat onto Valdez' huge champion pool in the jungle.
Absolutely, but the Fiora ban is going to be coming out very interesting.
Back to standard.
Yeah, back to standard, but that does open up a lot of possibilities for Bruriram because they do get second pick. They're still going to put a lot of respect on Raven's name. Going to be banning out both Senna and Ashe. So as we'll pick of the litter, Aatrox is up, Riven is up, Jax, 8, and Camille. Hang on, Camille is banned, my bad. But there are a lot of very, very good champions for Asriel. He's going to stick to the Aatrox, which is, kind of standard. Very commendable as a first pick. Does not want to give the Aatrox karma over to BRU because that was a disaster.
Yeah. Well, given the bans, we're going standard. Invate Esports, first pick Prio, Aatrox, BRU, maybe the Karma and the Nautilus once again, since it's not banned by Invade Esports. It worked for them in game number 2. They may be able to try it out. Yeah, it's coming in our way. Manifesting Nostradamus here by our predictions. And Invade Esports, they can maybe opt to go with Kazakhs again, though it's not really going towards their way just yet. Galio might be much better to pose threats to a team fight. Maybe drafting composition revolving around Azriel, because game 1, yeah, he did tremendous work. Bluffex as well. So maybe go towards their way this time. After so many times or twice that we did see the Lucian being banned away, well, game number 1, we did see it being banned away by BRU, then they changed up to Ashe. This time, Invade Esports is gonna attempt on using it.
Yeah, they're gonna do away with their mage dragon laner now, but it's gonna be either Noel or Golden Feet on the Corki here. Very good pick, pretty flexible, especially into a Lucian. You don't have to worry about the range or getting away from Lucian as much as other dragon laners. So this is already looking like a pretty decent pickup. So I forgot, the Karma is already in. So Golden Feet is definitely going to be on Karma with What the Jest on support. Noel going to be taking the role of Corki, so that does leave open the Baron and Jungle for BRU, which still honestly has a lot of options, especially if they want to go with that Jace pick again, which would be very interesting. Jax though, Jax very, very decent ban here. Merly, I don't think he wants to go with the Kazakhs anymore. Lee Sin is still up, but maybe something that could enable the Lucian a little bit more. Shyvana being banned out here though.
I'm actually curious if BRU is gonna opt to go with the Renekton once more here for Tipper. And well, it did work for them in game number 2. It can be a stable pick. Okay, you're gonna defy our analysis a bit, and our observation rather. Wukong picked by BRU. They're gonna attempt to get the first Wukong win in this series against Invade Esports. They do have a lot of burst damage, a lot of crowd control and suppression and sustain and late game scaling damage. But looking at the lineup of Invade Esports, that is a lot of burst and threat for team fight. So if we're gonna look at the damage department, BRU, yeah, Karma can deal a lot of damage, but Corki is gonna be dealing the most for sure in the late game. But can you actually do if you're being chased away by a Riven, a Galio, an Aatrox, a Lucian that can burst as well, and try to dodge a huge Mega Inferno nuclear bomb by a Ziggs while your team is trying to go in? So that is gonna cause a lot of interruptions here for BRU. Valdez is gonna go back to his standard of a Kazakhs, and I'm thrilled to see this.
Yeah, okay, so I think the theory here for Valdez is that if you look at Invate's champions right now, you got 2 ADCs. You got Lucian, you got Ziggs is basically an ADC at this point. You got Ziggs, Riven and Aatrox. They are very, very possible to gank, especially with the help of a Nautilus or the Wukong. So I think Valdez, he will need to get a lot of priority in the jungle here, especially in, I think, by minute 5, he should have at least 1, maybe 2 kills, or else it's just going to be kind of a downhill stride for him. But Merly is actually the one going to be on the Aatrox. I was kind of curious if he was going to pick up the Riven, but that was going to be Riven versus Wukong in the Baron lane and Corki Lucian in the mid. While, yeah, the mages are still going to be in the Dragon lane with some beefy supports. So, I honestly don't know how to call this one, Guillaume.
Well, what do you mean? Like the meta or like the? Because
I don't know who. I don't know who has an advantage with these champions, because they both have different win conditions that are very possible, either behind or ahead. They just need to get, one lucky team fight and everything turns around for either team.
One thing is, I will say though, eyes on What the Jess later on. He is the one that makes plays here, in which Valdez keeps an eye on him as well, and also keeps an eye on the opponents on how they are actually going to react. With the Kazik, we saw him being very, very proactive despite them being the one losing in game number 1. And he's gonna attempt it this time. Karma Nautilus combination has been very supreme for BRU in game number 2. But in terms of overall comp, I would actually be looking at Invate Esports in here. This is a scary comp that they do have. Early game pressure, and BRU actually going to be sending out the Wukong at least to have the team fighting potential or extra crowd control. And in the laning phase, actually, it can be a little bit difficult, but Wukong actually does have some quick short-term trades or quick trades that he can throw out against a Riven. So maybe Tipper can still have a decent time in Baron lane. But overall, late game scaling, Aatrox, Ziggs, Garayo, Riven, even the Lucian, that is gonna be one heck of a late game team fighting potential of Invade Esports.
Oh, the level 2 power spike from Raven and Rich is going to be coming in pretty clutch here. They're going to do a lot of damage to What the Jess. Golden Feet is going to shield them up and get them away from that trade. But What the Jess definitely has to back away now. That gives a lot of breathing room over to Invade, especially since Raven knows that that Nautilus is gone. Okay, so he did miss the knock-up onto the Wukong. I don't know, on his clone, they both pop their ignites. But a little bit of fear of commitment here, the Baron laners. They don't want to give an early kill over to their counterpart, their lane opponent, so just a little bit too cautious to go for early plays.
And Bluffek was actually like, oh, joke's on you. I actually stayed in the lane.
Oh, that's real.
Very low. Very, very low. Tipper doing so well this time. Yeah, Wukong can do wonders, especially with his clone. Outplay potential is high, and no Ash Arrow this time to actually, catch BRU off guard. So Invade Esports may need to send out some assistance here for Azriel.
Yeah, so the Rich is definitely going to be staying there. They're going to leave their mages in the Dragon lane. Just to farm up, there's really not a lot of risk, except for Golden Feet, who is getting harassed the heck and back right now. He's incredibly low. The Ziggs may be looking for a kill, and yes, the first blood completely free for Raven. He tries to get the minion to kill him so that it's Golden Feet who gets a kill, but no, Valdez, he definitely did not want to give Valdez that kill. That Kha'Zix with 1 kill makes much more of a difference than the Ziggs. But look at this gank on the middle lane. They're trying to get onto Noel, and he does go down. But under the turret is stuck. It's Merly who does go down. There's the depth charge onto Rich, but no Dredge line to keep him in the turret range, and Nautilus does not have the damage to get that kill. So it's 1 for 1 for 1 for 1, 2-2 on the board, but now there's a Cyclone coming up. Okay! The Broken Blade! Sentencing the monkey to death, and then the shield keeping Azriel alive. However, Valdez, he knows that this is how you play Kha'Zix. You invade, you get isolation damage in their own jungle, and then you get the kills, and then you snowball from there. However, it's going to be a little bit of a tough one for Valdez if he's not able to get the rest of his lanes ahead.
Valdez getting 2-0 is huge, but Invade Esports is getting some lead across the map as well. Azriel is finally ahead by 800 gold against Tipper, in which he made a nice outplay with his Broken Blade on that last part of fight, and even had enough time to use the shield to negate that final tick on the ignite that allowed him to actually stay alive. So props on to him. Now we're still on dead even. What the Jess engaging, but Noel I think has to fall back for now.
No, Noel can definitely just lay down a barrage of fire, but that AoE damage is very scary to deal with, so they do have to back away. Bluff X still is going to stay in the lane. He does know that he can go toe-to-toe with Corki, especially if there's nobody ganking, but look at how BRU prioritizes their map movements. They're applying pressure to the Baron lane. Thipper is going to be coming up, but Rich is coming up right behind them. So they know that the sports are here, but they may be looking for an early engage here. The Cyclone disengages BRU, so they are going to live another day, especially with the Aatrox around. So Murley is now wasting a little bit of time in the top lane, while Valdez is getting value by taking those Scuttle Crabs, taking as much farm as he can in his own jungle. 20 seconds left until the dragon spawns, so they are in a better position for that. However, you know, Murley can get there in a flash.
They're warded.
Okay, they're warded. There's a Mega Inferno Bomb. Just saying, hello, we know you're there. Please get out of there. So now Valdez, he may want to go for a sneaky Ocean Drake, but it is warded, so however sneaky he may be, it's going to be a trade for the Rift Herald here.
Yep, and BRU this time may try actually to attempt and slowing down the take on the Rift Herald. They actually are going to be engaging package.
They are going to be coming in, and there is a very, very low Riven there. Yeah, Asriel is going to go down to the Monkey, and Rich tries to get away with his heroic entrance. More like a heroic exit. Oh my god, they got the Corki, but that's fine because Murley falls down. Rich is now running away. Look at that. What the just tanking the turret. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Double kill for the Karma. That's going to speed up the damage for Golden Feet. And suddenly, that was a 3-for-1 in favor of BRU. They're going to get this turret. They got the Ocean Drake as well. And they stole the Rift Herald.
Yup.
So,
they
everything.
got most out of that fight. That is just so good here for Bruriram United Esports. And well played. That package, by the way, quickly split the members of Invate Esports apart. And it caused them to hesitate in going in once more. This is the pattern of Invate Esports. Right now, I think they need to regroup and recalculate their amount of damage that they can actually throw out, because Murley a while ago actually burst out well. And that was surprising in terms of team fighting potential. If they can actually fully utilize the Aatrox later on, then maybe they can contest BRU and charge them as well, turn onto them, and also gain the objective and the control on the map too.
Yeah, and also BRU is really good at playing with, you know, disrupting those back timings for Invate, forcing the Lucian to stay and defend the turret, along with, you know, keeping a couple of members around just in case somebody engages from Bruriram. So you can see that Invate is really respecting the potential of Bruriram to just dive in under their Dragon Tower. So there is so much respect from Invate onto Bruriram, and even now, look at this, the engage, the Cyclone coming in, and Valdez is there. He's gonna get the isolate damage, and he will give the kill over to the Monkey, but now Murley is here. Rich, heroic entrance coming in. They do get the kill onto Monkey. A little bit of revenge onto Thipper, but this could still be good. Valdez and Golden Feet, they could do a lot of damage as long as Golden Feet doesn't get caught out. He has to flash out, but he doesn't get that Mantra Q off, and they're still trying to ring around the rosy here, trying to play a little bit of a game, as Valdez takes so much damage, down to a third of a health, but he still lives, and with his W, he's able to kind of harass from far range, so it's still just a 1-for-1, but the bottom turret is going to go down here, but the Jess and Noel are going to get out scot-free. Bluff X and Asriel not able to defend.
Well, Invade Esports is actually starting to have some ways around the game now as the minutes go by. 8 minutes into the game, mid-game is starting to happen here for Invade Esports, and we're starting to see them as well start to fight back against Bruriram United Esports. We talked about this during the drafting phase, in which mid-game and late-game, or scaling in general, can be very good here for Invade Esports, as long as they avoid Valdez, which is doing so well, obnoxiously well in the game, being chased away now though.
Yeah, he has to get out of here. The Mega Inferno Bomb is going to hit, and now Valdez is in a lot of trouble as Murley just runs him down, and that is a really big catch for Invade, because now they can engage onto the Steve. But remember, the Golden Feet, the burst from him, and then the Corgi coming in. Noel, there's going to be so much damage, and double kill for Noel, and then Rich, it's all of them. He's not going to be able to get out of it. He's a Galio. He has no ability. A triple kill for Noel. 1-for-4. 100% worth it for Bruriram. And now they're going to get another turret, and then they can push in. Asriel can't really defend here, but they're not going to get greedy. They're going to prepare for the next objective.
Oh my gosh, Invate Esports, they got too greedy. They already got the kill on the Valdos. They shouldn't be looking for more, especially that they don't have vision onto where the other members of BRU actually are. The positioning and the timing of that ulti by Cold and Feet was just so on point, landing onto 3, deleting almost everybody, and the follow-up was just amazing coming in from Noel and What the Jess. MIB gonna be used onto Valdos. He is actually quite low.
Yeah, but this looks like a pretty free Rift Herald for Invate. I don't think that they're going to actually contest it. Yeah, they're a little bit late there, but they are going to chase away Invate with the threat of the engage. What the Jess, a whole level ahead of both Raven and Rich. So this is a pretty risky proposition for Invate to try to, contest anything from BRU. They have to sneak things away, but with Dragon coming up in 7 seconds, they really have to get a pick before they try to even contest or even try to position towards that. Because look at this, What the Jess, with just his body, he is so wide, he is forcing them away, and oh man, Merly is taking so much damage. Look at all that folk. Raven's already down to half health, and Valdes is just going to start this Drake for free. They're just gonna get Mountain Drake, no questions asked. And Fipper, he's gonna go in. Ooh, he hasn't even hit the Cyclone. There's the Cyclone finally, but the top, What the Jess is very low. He goes golden into Zonius, sacrifices his life, and finally he does die. But that is 2 kills now for Invade. Valdes was not even in that fight.
They're low.
He's gonna be in that fight now. Look at it, everybody's low. Noel, he smells blood in the water. He misses his shots though, and finally, oh my god, he's not getting anything. Oh, no. Look at that 3. Oh, he is pushing it down. He gets 1. He gets nothing. We're so low. They're so low. He misses the shots, but Asriel, he has to run away. Oh, Asriel's dead, sorry. But oh god, Raven's now in a bad situation. Merly, he is stuck between a rock and a hard place. All he can do is try to burst Noel, but no. Noel already had his next ability loaded. That's another double kill for the Corki player in the mid lane. That was 2 for 3. So Bruriram still keeps getting ahead in these fights.
Oh, greed after greed, Invate Esports. Again, it's the same pattern. They already got 2 kills. They should have backed away and not looked for more, because the only reason why BRU lost that early game fight is because Noel and Valdes was taking the Dragon. The moment they got it, they went in and followed up. And the moment they saw Cold and Feet land that enchanted Q onto the members of Invade Esports and saw their HP bars go quite low, their eyes sparkled and blazed with fire now, and they got really hungry, taking those kills, engaging without hesitation, and Invade Esports just started running. And they can only do so far with running. They got chased out. BRU just won that fight. Now they're ahead by 5,000 gold and just now are prepping for the potential Baron fight that they are actually more than prepped than Invade Esports.
Yeah, and What the Jess has just been a force of intimidation for BRU. As soon as they see the Nautilus, they have to run away. They have to respect the engaged potential of that dredge line, of that depth charge, because he doesn't even need to land a hook. He can just press his ultimate button, and that's already an engage. There is very little that Invade can really do here. Who is fed on their team? Merly has 4 kills, but he is pretty much the same gold as Asriel and Bluff X. So BRU, across the board, they are just dramatically ahead, especially with their teamfight coordination. And look, Invade has to commit to fights, but BRU can just dance around and go for the poke. Butter them up, soften them up before Valdes goes in and finishes everybody off.
Oh,
Fipper may be in trouble.
Them up, soften them up, and then suddenly surprised with a 1-2 punch combo in a haymaker that Invade Esports will not expect. And Valdes is the key there.
Those Mantra Qs are starting to hurt quite a bit. Look at Raven's health after just getting hit by the first hit. He didn't even get hit by the second. Oh my god, he's after 2 Mantra Qs. That Ziggs has to back. He won't be a part of the next team fight. So anytime they need to engage, which is now, it's going to happen as they have caught the Galio. But at the back, Merly is still trying to save his friend. Rich is going to stay alive. So will Merly. But that does mean they have to back. Oh my god, another catch out to Raven, have himself gone with just one ability. He gets dredge lined as well. Zonius will not save you here when 4 members of BRU are dancing on top of your golden statue, my friend. So they have to go for the drive-by here. BluffX just clear the wave because Baron is now available. Look at where Azriel is. He's split pushing off in the Dragon lane. That is not the place you want to be when BRU have just gotten a catch and they're threatening Baron.
Well, it's trying to get something out of here for Invate Esports. They're going to be focusing on to the clash. They need to be very careful. That line.
Another clash in mid. Rich got caught and the turret will go down, but that's two members looking for Azriel as Merly, Rich, and BluffX. They try to re-engage on this Nautilus, but he goes golden. Valdez and Golden Feet, they are just waiting for their cooldowns as Rich will go down, unstoppable on the Karma, but now Thipper has joined the party. BluffX incredibly low, and that is going to be a push towards Baron. They will not start it yet. They are trying to bait. Yeah, the big Inferno Bomb just to get the vision. They knew. Valdez knew that the Ziggs was going to go for that. So just not over-committing, but taking every single kill that they can safely.
No matter how strong the composition is for Invade Esports on their engage lineup, it's going to be difficult if they keep getting poked out here by Bruriram United Esports. And Noel, Golden Feet are so good at landing those shots onto Invade Esports, crippling their HP bars. And when they are bottled up, like what you said, they can just go in. What the Jets does not hesitate on that flash dredge line. Dipper does not hesitate, and even Val is jumping onto them. Wow.
No hesitation, the dredge line. It's gonna go on to Azriel, but he will go incredibly low. That Nautilus sacrifices life, but the health bars are getting super low. Valdez from the back is going to get incredibly low. So this could be a pretty good fight for Invade, actually. They've already caught one. They've maybe caught two. Dipper and Golden Feet, they have to make things happen here. Look at the health bars. Rich goes low, but goes golden. Dipper now, he's in a lot of trouble. And Golden Feet, he's going to chase down. Look, all these health bars, they're so low, except for Azriel, as he is the only other one. But that is a good 3 kills, 3 catches for Invade, and that signals the Dragon. But Valdez is still alive. Sorry, the Baron, but Valdez is still alive. He can definitely go for the steal, so they're not going to overcommit.
As they lose into that fight as well, he did turn into the Infernal Dragon and took it for BRU. So, well effectivity or efficiently here for Bruriram United Esports. They lose the fight, lose the members, but still get an objective. Now, Valdez is tempting to make an assassination towards BluffX, but will need to flee the scene right now. Invade Esports are overextending.
Oh no. Yeah, that was a big overextension for Merly. He has to get out of there really quick. Valdez tried to go for the flash, and now BluffX, he's so incredibly low. What the jest, though. He's just using his body to block. He goes for the dredge line. He gets it onto Galio. But in the back, look at that. It is Azriel going big. He's not going to go home. As Valdez, he's going to try to get away, but Rich finishes him off, and now Rich has to sacrifice his life. It is a 2 for 2, and I think that is still worth it for BRU because Noel got a double kill, and that just accelerates the Corki scaling. That is a hyper scaling champion, ladies and gents. So if Invade can't reach that Corki, who now has 9 kills, it is going to be a bad time for them.
Yeah, at this point, goalie doesn't even matter that much. It's up to the execution, it's up to the timing, it's up to the positioning. And BRU, despite them making some mistakes, they have been on point in response. Dredge line not going to be connecting as BRU just looks to back away. But this is a point where things can get a little bit messy. And the first time actually that we are going to be witnessing a potential, Elder Dragon contest by Invade Esports because they are capable of contesting. They're capable of fighting. The only problem is the poke. But if they can initiate quick enough, they can turn things around here in this game. And that is what BRU is sensing onto them right now. Azriel is starting to pop off. Merly is scaling so well. BluffX hurts a lot. And despite Noel hurting a lot as well, and same as Golden Feet, they need to be very careful of the engaged. Rich was on point with the Shield of Duran earlier, the taunts and the Justice Punch engage. And if he lands it on the crucial member, they can actually turn the taunt! Look at them!
That was a crucial member, but Valdez with a hop gets away scot-free. Just takes a little bit of his life, is what the Jess was there to keep him safe. But to note, the Kha'Zix, after his first 2 kills in the early game, has not gotten a single one after that. He's just been dealing damage and assisting in those kills for the Corki and the Karma. So it could still be anybody's game here because Invade has shown that they can win team fights if BRU gets sloppy. So BRU, they really do not want to clump up too much because that is kind of where Invate's strength lies in team fighting, with that Mega Inferno bomb, with a hero's entrance, with Murley just being in the mix, and Azriel just sunning everybody up. They don't want to be too close together. Conversely, Invade, they're not giving any opportunities for Valdez to get any isolation damage, but they don't want to be all too close together either because that Corki, his missile barrage is starting to take a lot of health away from the squishy targets.
Yeah, this is... I think this is the closest game, aside from Invade Esports win earlier in game number 1, that we are experiencing right now. And to think that BRU has the best possible momentum coming from game number 3, a perfect
Elder
game,
Drake.
26-28 kills, with all the Dragons, all RH, all Barons, and even a sub 14-minute game coming into game 4. But now Invade Esports is handling them effectively. For Elder Dragon spawn, I think they should be trying to contest this. Are they gonna give it away?
Be too late.
This is risky.
They're too late. That Mega Inferno bomb attempt, but not quite. As the Elder Drake becomes one for BRU. This is the time for the big team fight for Bruriram United. They've already got one. Lucian is down. The next to go is the Aatrox and the Ribbon, and everybody gets down. A triple kill for the Monkey. Vipper is going to close this out. Death timers at 45 seconds. They're going to run it down in the mid lane. What Jess is going to tank, and they're going to take this inhibitor turret. They're going to go for the Nexus next with 30 seconds left on those death timers. There is no way that Invade is going to be able to respawn in time. It's going to be Bruriram United confirming their slot in the Wild Rift League Asia season.
Congratulations to Bruriram United Esports. Well played, well deserved, and such a beautiful performance. 3 consecutive wins after losing just game number 1 and against Invade Esports. They pull off such miraculous and obnoxious amount of result, actually, even especially in game number 3. And now, despite all odds, despite the nice composition that Invade Esports has drafted for this game, despite those swingbacks that Invade Esports thrown at them, they did not shake off. They did not let them shake off their lineup and their intention, and they definitely made it matter for this Elder Dragon fight. I think Invade Esports did not anticipate how fast BRU would be able to take that Elder Dragon, because they were nowhere in position to actually contest. They were a tad too late to actually do anything in that fight. And basically, your enemy has the Elder Dragon, you should avoid them at all costs. So that was a big oopsie that Invade Esports did in the late game. Possibly a caster curse from me, because I really just complimented them before that thing happened.
Yeah, a little bit of it happens. Sweet caster curse pretty much anytime there is a cast to be had. But this game was so bloody. It wasn't as clean as the last game that we saw from Bruriram United, but still, it was a lot closer than it looked on paper, because Bruriram, they were dominating, right? They were getting so many good trades, and Noel, look at this. He still got that kill. He just barely missed out on those 2 slivers of health on both Bluff and Raven, but he was able to still get Raven and Murley here. So big kills for the Corki, and I think that was the key here for Bruriram United. Noel this side, I think, should be the MVP, while Valdez took it the last 2 games. Noel definitely stepped up with a Corki this time. So, I mean, on the other hand, Invade, they were able to capitalize on some really good picks as well. It was just whenever Bruriram was together, they couldn't do all too much. They had to take Bruriram one at a time and just dogpile on them as a team. Just like here, where they already got 1 kill onto What the Jess, and then Noel overcommitted a lot. Fipper was the next to go, as Golden Feet just tried to stay away, as well as Valdez taking the Drake.
Yeah, that point, actually, that highlight player could have been the point that Invade Esports could have turned things around in that game, but yeah, it just wasn't enough. I mean, in terms of execution, we do still see more of an efficient choice of BRU than Invate Esports. This is the part wherein I got confused because where was Merly? He was nowhere near that Elder Dragon, and at most it's just Rich close there, but it's not the one that has a smite, buddy. And after that Elder Dragon